I think I've always been the awkward one in group situations, and it's even interesting that most people do not even realize it because they feel like I fit in so well, I blend in so well, I make friends easily. It's not always like that, guys. I'm not that of a sociable person.
Dear ambitious African, this is your host, Secho. In this podcast, we'll discuss everything about our journeys and experiences towards achieving our goals for life and work as phenomenal change leaders in our varied communities. We'll feature other ambitious Africans crushing it through arts, social activism, tech innovations, entrepreneurship, and positive lifestyle and holistic well-being. We are the generation that is redefining Africa as we know it, and as an ambitious African, now is the time to get involved. Give us your feedback and ideas for our next podcast, and let's keep the conversations going. See you inside.
So I decided to make this Get to Know Me episode because why not? I really want to build connections, and it's something I'm always saying, and it's something I really wanted to lean into this year. I told myself I want to really get to know people behind my friends or behind the people I already know. I wanted to really get to know them. I have not done a great job with getting to know every single one of the people I would call friends, even though there are so few. But I'm loving the opportunity that just the realization that I need to do this is bringing me. It's making me more aware. It's making me more present. And it is making me more open to discovering new things about the people I might be familiar with. And that's really exciting. And this is just one of the ways to give you a chance to make me your friend. Especially with this Get to Know Me episode. It's just my way of, let's have like a heart-to-heart, or let's have like a chat, about the things that are not always going to be what we are, who we are directly, but let's just get to know each other. That's why I'm doing this episode. If you don't like this Get to Know Me thing, I'm cool. I'll do it again. I'm going to do that episode sometime in the future, just to update what you know about me in this episode. But that would be just for those people who want to hear. But if you don't want, there are other episodes that I'm really sure you would really love. So yeah. So first off, I do not have this episode scripted. As I'm speaking, just giving you the behind the scenes. I'm literally seated on the floor by my bed. I'm actually visiting my elder sister in her home. She's amazing. If you don't know already, my elder sister Afi, I rave about her. She's like my Oprah. So yeah, I'm visiting her and her family in her house. So she and her husband's house, that's where I am now. And I'm literally seated on the floor in the guest room, seated by the bed, and I'm recording this. These days, my days have been, so clear. When I say clear, like I am somebody who always has like conversations in my head. Like I'm always thinking about something. I'm always distracted. And it's quite funny how even though I've been distracted almost my whole life, I've been able to do quite a lot of things. And sometimes thinking about that makes me scared because I'm like, if I did that well distracted, perhaps I could have done way better if I just focused. But that's a different discussion for another day. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm just going to take it one day at a time. But I like how these days are. These days are very clear in my mind. I have a lot of clarity. Like I'm not pressured to do anything that I do not want to do. I'm leaning into, living through the days fully present. Like I'm fully present as much as possible. If you don't know about my story, well, I grew up in a slum in Ashaiman. Everybody who knows me on Facebook knows that I like raving about Ashaiman. At some point in my life, I even organized literacy projects. It was called the Ashaiman Reads Project. I think that project really like got me a lot of exposure that I had not even tried, like I had not even had. It was through that project that I met a lot of people, like, and that was because I was so driven to make it succeed. Looking back at my 19-year-old self running the project, I was like, wow, it was really an outlet for me, because during that time I was going through a lot of things personally. I had a lot of inner conflicts. I'm going to talk about that much later. If you want to hear about it, yeah, I'll talk about it. But I was really depressed those times because I had failed my math in senior high school. I had to resit it, and it was taking me 2 years to resit it. Not because I was slow, please. Let me get that out of the way. Not because I was slow. It's just because the timing of the exam that you had to take, it's called NOVDEC in Ghana. The way the timing is, when you write the exam in September in 1 year, that means you don't have the results you need to go to university for that year. And university starts in September. So that same September, you can write your exam, have your results, and apply for school. Hell no. So you have to wait the next year to go to school. And that's how come it took me 2 years. So run the project was really an outlet for me. Was one way I felt like I needed something to, to spice up my life. I needed something to move my life. If I say move, I needed something to make me feel like I was also being productive, because I had these friends who were going to school and were, moving on. I felt like I was being left behind. So I started that project also because I didn't want the young people in my community to end up like me. I don't know why I even thought that. But yeah, I didn't want, I came very face to face with the likelihood that I might not go back to school. And I was so bummed. Like, I was like, my only issue is exam. And yes, of course, the finances, right? But I was like, how about people who perhaps did not even have a great basic education to even, be confident about rewriting their exam and even using that to seek finances or seek funding for school. And just all the ideas, like, it really affected me personally. So I was like, I need to do something. So I ran that project, and through that project, I got to know a lot of people, mostly because I was knocking on doors, approaching people, telling them I'm running this project. Give me donations, give me money, let me refurbish this library in this public school so that the young people in that school can learn and better their prospects at pursuing higher education. And I was really like, I'm a very shy person. A lot of people might not agree, but I'm very shy. I literally think like 3 or 4 or 5 times before I post something online. But then my 19-year-old self like found life in this project, and I wasn't shy. I was always making noise about it on Facebook, asking people to donate, and it got people really interested because they were like, this girl is always making noise about it. I was, Charlie, it's just amazing thinking back on all that I did. I can literally say I gave it the best shot I could. And that's one thing for all of us to learn, that sometimes even if you don't have everything figured out, the fact that you give it's your best shot, however you can, in the time that you are in, it very, very much leaves you with little regrets looking back. It makes you rather proud of how much you were able to accomplish with so much little, or with so little confidence. Which takes me to a different part of the conversation, building confidence. I love to, I don't know, you might call me the confidence ambassador or whatever fancy name, but I spent close to 10 years of my life literally like looking God in the eye, well, not eye to eye, constantly praying for 2 things. The one, God, make this depression stop, and two, make me so confident, to pursue my dreams, to pursue my goals, to make things happen, make me confident. And those are the two things I was always praying for. And in those times, I mean, I grew up with a lot of things, unsure. I was unsure of a lot of things in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to be in the future when I was growing up, because that's a different discussion we could have another day, but I never aspired to be anything. When people asked me, I don't know what I told her. I don't remember if I wanted to be a journalist or a clinical psychologist. I don't know. But clinical psychologist was even in senior high school that I knew that there was something called clinical psychologist. But for me, I knew that I loved writing. I loved, creative things. I used to dream about maybe being hired in the company, and all I would do was write poems on gift cards. And today I think that's what copywriters do. I am a copywriter, but I don't work in a gift card company. Maybe that would be something I have to try, maybe as an internship, just for shaggy reasons. But I knew so much that there was no way I was doubting the greatness God had put in me. Like, I had a lot of insecurity. I was scared about a lot of things, but I had this rare confidence about the greatness. There was not a single minute I doubted my greatness. Like, I had this stable sense of belief that they have been called to a stage, or I've been called to greatness, and I flaunted it every minute I could. Even on days I was weeping and crying and depressed and blue, I was always not I was not going to negotiate on that. And I think that has really played a critical role in, I think God has used that to build confidence for me, and I do not take it for granted at all. If I say God a lot, it's because I'm a Christian, just so you know. But I do not take that for granted at all, because listen, I've observed the nuances of different situations, and I've observed people, how they behave and how they talk, and I can literally tell the very second somebody's confidence mellowed, and because of that, the other person took advantage of them. I can literally see it in movies, in real life scenarios. I can literally tell that, okay, this person was right, but because he was not confident, this person just walked all over him. And I'm not saying that my pursuit of confidence was because I didn't want people to walk over me, but it was like, God, like, all these people do amazing things. They have two eyes like me. They have one head. I might not be smarter than them, but God, whatever it is they're doing, I sure as hell know they also have insecurities, but they're still pushing through. I want to be like them. I want to use my fear as a forward to get things going. And I pursued it so bad for like 10 years of my life. When I was in senior high school, one of the things I used to pray for also was, God, I told God, give me wisdom. Give me wisdom. I want to be very wise. I want to be wise. Give me wisdom. And that was also because I was preparing for exam. I remember in senior high school, there was this drawing line right in front of our dormitory, and in the night, people would go like under it and just to pray. It's not like they are bending, but like they're just walking in the shadows of the drawing line, and it's in the same courtyard in the dormitory. And that's Wesley Grammar School. For anybody who went there, was in house too. So if that gives a better idea of what I'm talking about. And people used to pray, and sometimes in the nights, I'd just be walking, in that quiet place, and be praying to God, asking God for wisdom, because I wanted to be wise. I wanted to understand things. I wanted depth of knowledge, because I believe that God wanted me to be wise. And let me confess, I had read in the Bible that, Solomon prayed for wisdom, and God was like, you didn't ask me for riches, you didn't ask me for power, you asked me for wisdom, and because of that, I'm going to even give you more than you asked. I'm going to give you wisdom and money. I'm like, okay, God, I really want to ask for the money, but I'm not so sure you like the sound of that, so I'm going to do what Solomon do. I'm going to do what Solomon did. I'm going to ask for wisdom. So that just in case you're shopping on the wisdom aisle and you're getting closer to the witches aisle, you can pack that in my basket as well. I'm not going to reject it. Yeah, literally. I was like, God, I come from a very poor home. No, not so very poor, but I come from very humble beginnings. So, Charlie, if you're going to make this work, I really need the money and I want the sense too. So, if I can have both, I'll be really happy. Your girl will be very happy. But so, those were the things I really prayed for. And especially this year, I've seen this year, when I said this year, 2020, I've seen all that manifest in ways that I'm always reminded, do you remember what you prayed for back then? I'm always doing in situations where I'm remembering these things, and it is super amazing. Beyond that, I started this podcast because I felt that I wanted to really connect with people. I didn't want to start a podcast because it was a nice thing to do, or it was a trending thing, or it gave people some vibe or something, like whatever reason people start podcasts for. Like, for me, I really wanted to connect with people. I really wanted to connect with people. I wanted to have those conversations I was having in my head out loud and look into the world and ask if someone else was like me, was having those same thoughts, was having those same questions, and wanted to know the same things. I am super inquisitive. I want to always know how people do things, especially in their businesses these times, right? And I was like, a lot of people are not talking about the things I want to talk about, at least not the way I want. Like, I want to ask those very, very behind the scenes questions, right? I want to ask you, Charlie, did you think about salary when you're choosing a job? I know it helps you make impacts and all that, but Charlie, did you think about the salary? How did you negotiate your salary? What were some of the things you said? What was the reasons you gave them? And what did you do when they said they were not going to give it to you? Like, I want to know, because I didn't grow up with such conversations, and it's something I have to literally learn on my way. And I wanted to have these discussions, but a lot of people were not having it, particularly because everybody was trying to, abandon their beginnings. So all the people I knew were, and I think I have also been in that situation where I didn't want to be like, oh, because I'm from a shy man, people look down on me. So now let me try and look like I'm a big shot. So, I have a nice profile on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm wearing a suit. I look I don't look like where I came from. Like, that kind of vibe. I totally respect that people are trying to project professional images and brands of themselves. I'm like, if you're not doing that, what have I been teaching you on my podcast? Go do it, right? But I wanted to do that and still be authentic with myself. I wanted to have that assignment conversation that didn't seem awkward with my DB friends, who usually teased me because I was from assignment, and they didn't quite understand. I wanted to have those discussions without seeing me also like I'm always talking about Shaman. They are tired. So I wanted to have those discussions with people who felt the way I felt, who knew what I was talking about, and as much as possible, like, they wanted to just talk about it out loud so that we can figure this thing out. Like, this thing that is there that we don't know what to call it, but it's just there. That's what I wanted to discuss. And it was that desire for me to build connections surrounding this similarity I had with other young people that, birthed this podcast. And as much as possible, I'm always promoting, like, I would rather go deeper than build wider. I'd rather go deeper in the conversations, go deeper in the interviews, go deeper in the thought processes, go deeper in the topic ideas, go deeper in my connection with you than spread wide and say, oh, we are here, you can listen to us here and there, and we are reaching like 1,000 audience every day or 10,000 every day in those things. I don't care if it's even one person who is listening to my podcast. So first we can have an honest conversation. I'm good. I'm very good. So that brings me to the end of my get to know me session. I think I've said a lot of things. If there's something you really want to know about me, please send me a question. That would really direct me for the next one. That is if you want us to have a next one. But beyond that, I want to leave you with this thoughts that I had today, that perhaps the universe or the world is conniving for our good, and we are not exploring or exploiting it. And so if you can give yourself this week to believe that all things are working together for your good, how do you think the week would end? Well, you can't tell. All you have to do is just try it, because you lose nothing when you do. Continue to show us some love on this podcast via our social media handles, and let's meet next time. Thank you for listening.